Now, the photographer attending the Duke of Edinburgh's memorial service has revealed he was told not to photograph Prince Andrew, who accompanied the Queen at Westminster Abbey last week. It comes as the Duke of York gets set to join Her Majesty at the Epsom races during the Jubilee celebrations this summer. Well, royal author and commentator Robert Jobson joins us now. Very good morning to you, Robert. First of all, let's just get your reaction to this news that the camera, the photographer that was given access to this memorial broke with protocol, and just explain how difficult and privileged it is to be nominated as the only photographer in there, and what the advice from the palace was, and how significant it is that he broke those rules.
Well, I was sitting only a few yards away from him when he was there. He was chaperoned by the press advisor, the press team from the palace. He was on, he was on the royal rota, so he's sort of under their jurisdiction to a degree. But of course, the bottom line was that morning we broke the story on GBNews that Andrew was going to accompany the Queen to the event. Of course, that then became the story, and so quite rightly, as a news photographer, he decided he was going to take that picture. But it's difficult because you're there under their auspices. But if you don't get that picture, I'm sure all the editors and picture editors in Fleet Street would have been asking what on earth he was doing.
But will he be struck off then from ever being able to get on that royal pool again?
I think if that happens, there'll be uproar. I think that the palace got it completely wrong from beginning to end on this. The reality is the photographer's there to report the news as other reporters. You can't be controlled by the palace. During the pandemic, there's been far too much control of this royal rota and what can be embargoed, what can't be embargoed. And frankly, they've utilised it to sort of almost stage manage what they want in the papers and what they don't. I don't think you could continue to do this. I mean, I can understand it when there were restrictions in the pandemic. I can understand all that, but I can't understand them trying to completely organise the agenda to suit themselves. There was a story there, and the newspapers and the news photographers and reporters are there to report the story, not the image that the palace want. I mean, ultimately, there have been photographs, once we've broken the story on GBNews, that of them actually in the car. So what happened after that? Did he just disappear?
Yeah, no, really fair point. Look, given the controversy surrounding Prince Andrew, at that time we were just talking about the out-of-court settlement he made, paying tens of millions of pounds to a girl he claims to have no recollection of. But since these pictures that we're looking at now, more question marks have risen about his judgment. This time, financial dealings that he's made, more coverage in the papers today. What's the latest twist on that?
Well, I mean, he's been embroiled in a court case that effectively is between two other people, a Turkish billionaire and a complaint about the handling of money. And money was apparently paid to him, to Sarah, and to one of his daughters. Now, the reality is that was, again, calls into question his private office as well as his judgment as to why on earth they accepted this money in the first place. It has been returned and no wrongdoing has been recorded. But the fact is, it brings into question the people around him as well as himself and his judgment. The other thing that happened, of course, is he posted this message on Sarah Ferguson's Instagram, all about his heroics in the Falklands War, which is 40 years ago, and he was fought very courageously in that conflict. But the fact is, you wonder why he's doing it now. I think at the moment he's a bit all over the place, Andrew, and I think probably it's best if he just lays low and tries to rebuild his life in a quiet place. Because at the moment, Fleet Street are very unforgiving, and the public simply don't want to know. And I think he's misjudging the public mood about him.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you say he's misjudging the public mood. He put that Instagram post up on his ex-wife's account and then removed it. So perhaps he got a sense then of how badly it was being received. Reportedly, he wants to accompany the Queen to some of the Jubilee celebrations, perhaps the Derby at Epsom. Do you think that's likely to happen? And if so, given what happened last week, how well will that be received by the public?
Well, Isabel, I think they've got it slightly the wrong way round. It's not so much Andrew pushing himself forward. I really don't believe that is the case. He was quite happy to go to the Thanksgiving service with his daughters, and there's been quite heavy briefing against him. My understanding was the Queen wanted him to do that rather than the other way around. And equally, if there's a family situation, not a state or public situation in terms of an official engagement, that the Queen wants him at her side, she will simply ask him to do it. And if she's asking you to do it, I think it's pretty impossible for Andrew to say no. Now, whether or not the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Cambridge are against this, we'll have to wait. We understand that is the case because they probably feel it's the wrong image and the wrong message. But ultimately, the Queen is at the moment the Queen, and it's her decision if she wants him to accompany her to a private or a family event.
And it is her party after all. OK, Robert Jobson, thank you very much. Always good to have you on the programme. See you soon.